Scott McNealy, who most of you got an opportunity to meet last night, is a commissioner of the Alternative Golf Association. You heard a little bit about that. Some of you may know Scott better as corporate America's top CEO golfer, a title bestowed on him by Golf Digest from 1996 to 2004. Others of you may remember Scott, the former captain of the Harvard golf team from several appearances in the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am just down the road. In 2001, Scott was named the tournament's most valuable amateur after proving his team's score with Jesper Parnevik by 35 strokes. Then there are others of you that might remember that Scott also ran a little company called Sun Microsystems for 22 years. Sun Micro made $200 billion in nearly 3 decades while Scott was there, and before it sold to Oracle for $7 billion 2 years ago. So, as a lovable Carl Spackle would say, he's got that going for him. As I think we all know, the Alternative Golf Association high-profile project is Flogton, which is not golf spelled backwards. Since its introduction earlier this year, Flogton has been called a few different names by the media and other people in our business. But there's one thing that no one will dispute or argue. Scott McNealy loves our game, and more than anything, he wants to see it grow and get healthier, as we all do. Flogton may just be part of the answer to making those things happen. Please help me welcome Scott McNealy.
Great. Thanks. I got a chance to kind of tee up the subject last night for those of you who were here. And good job. I woke up this morning and didn't realize it. Didn't even look like I had 2 of my closest friends over for a little party last night. But we enjoyed that. Enjoyed sharing our home with you. This is an exciting. Before we do that, I want to do one kind of charitable give back moment real quick. That anytime I get a microphone, since I left Oracle, I've asked for 2 days for Oracle. They already had a chairman and he had a way bigger boat than me, so I gladly stepped down. But I'm pushing a .org that we started inside of Sun. It's called Curriki, and I'm going to leave some cards and some write-ups on if any of you are at all interested. A lot of you know some fairly wealthy people, and we're always looking for people to support. Curriki is curriculum and wiki combined. It's a K-12 educational website where we're open sourcing and making available free. We have about 45,000 learning assets that are available for K-12 education. Just real quick statistic, we spend $15 billion a year, every year annually, once a year, in the United States alone on curriculum. And we spend $130 on a 3rd grade math textbook when nothing's changed since Newton got hit on the head with an apple. And 10 plus 10 was, is, and will be 20 for a long time. And we can teach all of our children on the books we all learned on. Yet we gratuitously revise them, make them heavier, break their backs. And they're not web-enabled, they're not multimedia, they're not real-time scored, they're not self-paced, they're not on-demand, they're not animated, they're not fun. And there's something seriously wrong with the fact that it's insanity, because we keep doing the same dumb thing over and over and over. This is a website that is a .org, and it's making all of this available internationally to people free. So I'll leave some stuff here up on the table under the break, or at some point you want to just grab a card and some of the background material. If you know anybody, a teacher, a parent, a student, or a potential donor, I would really appreciate that. So end of a public service announcement, but I wanted to let you know that that's kind of been the big project I've been working on since leaving Oracle. So now back to the issue at hand, and I appreciate that introduction. The goal here is more golf. I think that's a good thing because I truly do love golf. I have my boys, 4 boys, they're 9, 11, 13, and 15, playing 2 sports. hockey, because it teaches them a physical courage, it teaches them teamwork, it teaches them responsibility to other people. It gets them very, very fit, and it's all good, and it's actually exciting to watch. I also have made it a point, and my wife has been very supportive of this, to give them all the gift of golf. Because I think that that's a very, very important gift to give. This is my youngest. And it's a family thing. There's family vacations for us. It's family time together. But most importantly, it teaches them that personal responsibility thing that I talked about last night. And so I just feel very, very strongly that we can do some very good things for this planet by getting more people to play this game and to follow the rules. So we're going to break the rules to some degree, but we're not going to ignore the rules, if that sounds weird. We don't want to create an activity with what we're doing with the AGA. We want to create some new games with clear rules that are followed. Because the greatest thing about golf is the integrity, the honesty, the transparency, the self-rule, the self-responsibility, the fact that you have pro golfers calling themselves on a penalty that only they saw. Hey, I saw the ball move, or my club touched the sand. That's what's great about this game, is the integrity and character that it builds, along with the, I can't blame anybody else but myself. We don't want to change that. That's what I love about the game, and that's why I teach my boys this game. Because when they step out in the real world, I think they'll be tougher and stronger as a result of all this. I also think that this game is pretty nice because it's a pretty fun walk in an amazing park. And you all have some of the best parkland and the most accessible parkland in the world. And making that available to everybody is, and the tradition and the special times that these places all create are just, this is our own little park right here. The beauty of where we live is, late afternoons in the summer, nobody's playing the front nine. So we take the dog, the boys take their bikes, and this is our own little park. And it just doesn't get any better than that. So I love the game, and I especially love the assets that you all represent here in this room, which is the golf courses. So we're not here to blow anything up. I love the job the USGA.org is doing. I love the job that Joe and the PGA of America is doing. I love the job that the PGA Tour is doing. And I love the job that you all are doing creating those venues. But you guys have seen the numbers, and they aren't pretty. We all know that. I was actually quite shocked when I started to receive the numbers. I didn't leave Oracle to go do this. Pat came to me with Bob Zeider and said, we got a problem in the game, and can you help? And I was actually quite surprised. This is the one that really bums me out. The kids aren't playing. It's pretty obvious, and we'll get into that. But this is a problem. This is a baby boomer bubble that is a real problem. And you know, my wife didn't play golf, but sorry. Let me just go to the next slide. There you go. Oh, now we got two slides there. My wife didn't play when we met her, but she's a very competent, avid golfer, and it's made a wonderful family thing that we can all do together. She tried playing hockey, so we got her skates, and about the third time she was out there, she tried to skate on one foot backwards and jump like her boys were doing during the lesson. She fell down, broke her wrist, and hit her head, so we haven't put her on the ice. Golf's been a much more successful way to integrate her into a family sport. So, you know, I think all of the constituents here in this room should be concerned about what's going on. Do we have a better clicker? Interestingly enough, this number is probably understated, and when you look around, PGA show, and we announced this in Florida earlier this year. We were at a dinner table, and there were a bunch of the more, I think probably Augusta and Cypress Point will probably be the last places that will kind of get there with what we're talking about. And that's okay, that's cool. You actually want some pure and pristine places. So there'll probably be some AGA courses where we'll anybody from Cyprus show up. So that's okay. Everybody deserves the right to associate. But we were there with the golf pro from Saucon Valley, and he's kind of giving us one of these looks like, what are you talking about? What are you even smoking? But then after we went through this a while, at the end, I think it was Bob asked a very interesting question. He said, oh, by the way, and if you've ever been to Saucon Valley, they've got 3 of the most unbelievable golf courses, the most spectacular facility for golf. He asked them the money question. What's the wait list to get into Saucon Valley right now? You know what the answer was? There is no wait list to get into Saucon Valley. One of the great golf assets on the planet. There's a lot of challenges. I just got a letter from a club that we're trying to get out of. The wait list to get out of the club, La Quinta, is 23 years, I think they said, at the current rate. So what did they do? And declared bankruptcy, Chapter 11. And they sent me a note and they said, now your deposit will be half of that. But the wait list is still about 22 years. Well, that's helpful. That makes it, would you please vote for this? Well, what choice do I have? And there are lots of these headlines. None of us likes to read them, but that's the way it's going. So clearly, I'm going to go through this quickly because I want to leave some time for Q&A. I'm kind of preaching to the choir because you've all seen this. It's a hard game, and especially when you give the same playing field with that same little cup that Tiger Woods is aiming at. I guess I should say Rory now. That Rory is aiming at. Same equipment, the same, V grooves, the same non-trampoline effect, driver heads, the same grips and everything else that these guys are playing on the same golf courses with the same hard, fast greens and those special little tight line chipping areas where the ball rolls away from the green and now you've got this elevated. You all have all tried to play those shots. These guys do this all day, 8 hours a day, from the time they're 5 years old until the time they're 35. Have you all been working like that on your golf game? It would be easier if you could do that. Here's my biggest beef, and I encourage you all to get the Golf Magazine issue for July and read the cover story about slow golf. My favorite quote in that thing was the media article that they quote from the 20s, arguing that golf slowed down. It's taking 2.5 hours now. You just can't get around in 2 hours anymore. That was the complaint back then. My son, we're at Palo Alto Muni as part of the Nike golf camp, and my 9-year-old was fit to be tied. He goes, Dad, we were playing a scramble. It was just supposed to speed up the game, right? He said, after 6.5 hours, we had to quit, and we only got 16 holes in. Now, the fact that a 9-year-old would actually stand for that and not quit the game must be a genetic defect. But it's absolutely crazy. I was telling a story last night. We were at the Ocean Club in the Bahamas, and we always get the first tee time. I don't care if we have to get up the crack of dawn to go do it, because my family loves to play fast golf. So we had 2 threesomes in carts. My 2 older boys and the youngest were in carts in the front, and Susan and myself and another boy were behind. Somebody paid somebody off and got the 7:50 tee time, which was earlier than the first tee time, which we had. And it was a good old boy from down south. He was quite entitled, and he got in his car and called everybody up.